So you want to learn how to draw some arms? You've come to the right place. Whether they're big or bulky or fine and feminine, I've got the best tips to help you draw some fabulous arms. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you the basics of how to draw a male arm. Not a big hulky Hulk style arm, but just a typical male arm. That way I can show you the muscle structure of where things go on the arm. Then at the end I'm going to show you the difference between drawing a male arm and a female arm. So let's get to it. Okay, so we start off with a basic stick figure. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to draw a basic male torso to give you a rough idea of where the arm placement is going to be. So we've got our neck here, chest over here, and abs here. You don't need to draw this is just to give you a reference of where things are. Now what you want to do is figure out the pose that your arm's going to be in by drawing two distinct lines. So I'm going to draw just a basic arm, so an arm coming down like so. Now here's the hip, so the hand, I'm going to draw a little box here for where the hand is. I'm not actually going to show you how to draw a hand today. If you want to learn how to draw a hand, check out this video right here. There's some good tips on drawing hands. Now this can work for any position of the arms. You can have your arms going like this, going up. You can have your arms going down, coming forwards. But the basics is you want to have two lines, so for the upper arm and the lower arm. In fact, I'll leave this one, see, and I've got the hand up here, so I can show you two different positions using the same technique. Okay, so what's next? We draw our circles. Now this line here, we're actually going to draw two circles, one that joins at the shoulder here, so you want a nice big circle like that, and then over here we're going to have another circle that joins at the base of where this line is here. So this circle is joining at the shoulder, as you can see, and this circle is joining at the base of this arm. Same technique over here. So we've got our big shoulder circle and our bite. Now notice this arm is more bent than this arm, so this circle is actually going to be a bit bigger, because as you can see, when your arm is straight, it's quite flat. You bring it up, it curves. I mean, I don't have the most muscly arms, but you get the idea. Okay, so now the lower arm, you'll notice that the bulk of the arm is actually at the top of the forearm rather than at the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another circle, but this time it's going to be mostly at the top. Now if your character is really muscly, you can actually go a lot bigger at the base, but this is a standard arm, so I'm just drawing just a nice circle. And then I'm just going to draw a tube to the hand. And then of course we've got an elbow, so I'm going to put a little V shape at the elbow. So that's the muscle structure for that arm. Let's do it on the other arm. So I've already got my V shape here. Okay, so now for the forearm circle, it's going to cross over my circle over here, and that's good because one is in front and one is behind. And then I'm going to draw in my little tube shape back here to join to the hand. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to start adding some definition so we can actually see what the muscles look like. And you want to be aware of what part's in front and what part's behind. Now we're not actually going to draw the whole circle. We're going to just draw the parts that we need to define the actual shape. Let me show you. So we've got our deltoid over here, which is joining to the shoulder and the neck. So I'm going to bring it around, and it's going to just cut across. See, I've got my circle here. I'm actually cutting across it like that. And it's going to do the same. Now this is actually going to join basically at the chest here. So I've got the chest here. So we want to bring that muscle back, and it basically joins like that. Okay, so that's our deltoid. Now we're going to do our bicep and tricep using this circle over here. So imagine this circle comes back around a little bit more narrower, and now notice that the circle is still here, but we're going to be coming from underneath the deltoid. So I'm going to start here and bring it down and around, and then bring that up. And then we've got our deltoid at the back. So I'm going to go out a little bit and then back down, using the circle as a guide. So that's the top half of my arm done. Pretty easy. Now for the forearm. Now be aware of what part's in front. So the forearm is probably going to be a little bit above, a little bit over from our point of view of the bicep here. So I'm going to come a little bit in from there and just smooth it around to the hand. And I'm going to just define my elbow a little bit like that. And then this time I'm just going to do a little bit of an angle out and a little bit of an angle in for the forearm. So that's that arm. So let's work on the other arm now. So we've got our deltoid. Now this arm, remember, it's a bit more squeezed, so the angle is going to be a little bit sharper and higher. So we've got our deltoid. Now this time the bicep is actually going to be more in front. So this time we're going to see where here this went over. This time the bicep is going to go over because it's more forward. And again, we've got our little one underneath. And we've got our chest. I'll just draw the chest a little bit here so you can see it better. So there's our chest muscle. Now it's going to come from the base of where the chest is and going to go down and join it to the elbow here. So that's our deltoid muscle. Now this part here is going to be more forward, so what I'm going to do is bring that around and follow it up to the hand. Bring my elbow around and just go out a little bit and bring it straight back. And there we have our arms for our male body. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ink in all the lines that I want to keep and then rub out all the lines that I don't want to keep. That way you can see the difference between having the circles there and the circles not there. So let's do that. So as you can see now, we've got the circles gone, but we've got a good shape to define all our muscles of our arms. Quite easy, isn't it? Now, depending on how strong and bulky you want your character to be, depends on how broad and wide you make those circles. Okay, so at the start of the video, I mentioned that I was going to show you the difference between a male arm and a female arm. I remember because I was standing there when I said it. Then at the end, I'm going to show you the difference between drawing a male arm and a female arm. So now let's start drawing our female arms. So again, I'm going to draw a basic female form, really quick. Now, the female form is not as big as the male form, but they do have different parts of the body. And the neck is going to be up here. And again, we start off with our stick figure, so it's a basic lines down, 2 lines down, 1, 2, and I'm going to draw the same shape, so, and a 1, 2 coming up. Now this time we're actually going to put in the same muscles, but we don't want them to be as wide and bulky. We want them to be more lean. This way it can show that there's more of a feminine arm as opposed to male arm. And there is a bit of a difference, but you'll see as we go on. So again, from the shoulder, I'm going to draw my muscles a lot smaller and more, think more length into the, rather than a rounder circle, more of a thinner oval. Same over here, thinner oval and a thinner wrist, and the hand will be over here. Same over here, we've got our shoulder muscle and our bicep. Nice circles. And same over here. But think more lean, more longer rather than wider. And the hand. Okay, so now we're going to put in the definition. Now, the big tip I can give you here is less is more. If you put too much definition onto a female arm, they get too bulky and they look like she's either been going to the gym too much or you're drawing a male arm. So bear that in mind when you're drawing your arms, less is more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out and nice smooth lines. And we've got our chest over here, so again the line basically joins up to the chest. And we've got a nice smooth line coming down. So they actually look longer, but you can actually see it's basically the same length of the line, but the arm looks longer and more defined because the circles are smaller. So there's that arm, and now over this side we're going to do the same over here. Just define it a little bit. Put in our elbow with our V shape and just smoother. And we want to think smoother lines. Whereas if it was a male, it'd be more of a jagged, harsher angle. We want more smooth lines for the female. And there you go. So what I'm going to do now again is I'm going to ink my lines so that you can see them more clearer, and I'm going to rub out the guidelines so that you can see them without the circles there. So as you can see, we've got our male arms here, which are more bulky, muscular type arms, and we've got our female arms here, which are more fun, and just by looking at them you can clearly see which is the male arm and which is the female arm, and that's the benefit of doing it this way. Okay, so that's your basic arm structure. So by following those simple rules, top arm you have 2 sets of circles, and at the forearm 1 basic set of circles, and from there you can draw your character's arms in any position that you like. Now I didn't go into too much detail on how to draw hands in this video. That's basically because hands are a whole video on their own. Speaking of, here is a video for you to check out right now on how to draw hands.